what to do when you notice undisclosed issues from an inspection or the seller's disclosures. We are going to deal with this intricate topic today. What happens when you see undisclosed issues coming up in it when we are in a buyer's transaction, and how to deal with that. Hi, I'm Amol Heda with Keller Williams Bay Area Estates and author of Thriving Through Ownership. So, you get into a transaction, your offer gets accepted in this tough market. That's the best thing possible. The sellers have put their inspections, they have done their disclosures, and I always advise my clients to order their inspections, irrespective of whether you think that the other side inspections are thorough or not. And here is what I additionally do in this case. I always tell them that if you don't want to order your inspections, we in real estate practice have to ask them to sign a waiver of inspection disclosure. So suppose somebody says, oh, I'm buying full cash, I don't need to inspect the property. I go and tell them that you should sign the waiver of disclosure. What the waiver of inspections does is it puts the responsibility for any issues coming up afterwards on the buyer. And guess what? Will any buyer want to just own up to the responsibilities if they find issues after closing the property? No. And in that case, that is the reason why buyer's inspections are extremely important. And the buyers should order their own inspections. And here in California, we do at least 2 inspections. One is the property inspection, which is a general property inspection which shows structural, electrical, roof, chimney, and the general plumbing, electrical, and everything. The second inspection is the structural or pest control inspection, which looks for termite, any structural damage to the wood, members of the property, and any other fungus or water damage related issues. So these are the 2 inspections that we typically order. And if one of these inspections finds out that there is more issues that they think that need to be addressed, then you will order further inspections. Like if the house has a pool, then a pool inspection will be ordered. If the property inspector says, oh, this condition of the roof is suspect, we'll order the roof inspection then. So that's the process of ordering inspections or the flow. Now, suppose the sellers gave all their disclosures, their inspections, everything is going hunky-dory, and then the buyer orders the inspections and the buyer finds that there is a $20,000 foundation crack which the sellers did not disclose. How do you go about this issue? So my typical advice to people is that you are going to find about 1% to 2%, 1.5% worth of a shake in the property when you are in a buy-side transaction. So say a property is being bought at $1 million, you are going to potentially see some issues that are worth $2,000 to $5,000, which you should not be worrying about. In this market where it's $1 million transaction, give or take, and the property is difficult to even set hands on in the first place, you should not be worrying about the $2,000 or $5,000, which is 0.5% or less amount at stake. But the moment that amount goes bigger than that, then what do you do? That's the question we are trying to address here. And it's not disclosed by the seller. See, there is a huge difference between disclosure and discovery. So when the seller discloses beforehand, the buyer goes and accounts for that damage or the cost for repair of that particular issue, and they will adjust the price accordingly, and that adjusted price is what they are going to offer. Now, if that's the price that they are offering, hunky dory, you don't have to worry about it. But the issue is, say the seller did not disclose a $20,000 foundation issue, or the seller wasn't aware of a $20,000 foundation issue. The buyer can't bring that much money to the transaction in that case. And so if the buyer does not have that much money and the house is unsafe, will the buyer still pursue? Very likely not. So the best option in that case is for the buyer to just back out. Now, the moment the buyer starts to back out, these days in California, most offers are non-contingent. Most offers have no buyer contingencies and they buy them as is. Now, when you are in an as is contract, you cannot go and claim from the seller for any damages even in your discovery, because you have done an as is contract. You can back out, and if it is non-contingent, the seller is going to say, we are not going to give you a deposit, let's set it aside until the attorneys settle it out. Now, but to be practical in this case, the way that works is that once you say you are backing out, because of the fault of the property, the seller and the listing agent have to disclose that major fault in the property. And if they have to disclose that fault in the property, guess what? The next buyer who comes on the table and writes their offer, they are going to adjust their price based on this discovery or the new fact that's on the table. So you know what? Most of the times when such a discovery happens, when an experienced agent is working on the buyer side, they will get the seller to adjust or bake that into the price. And that's how this thing works. Are you understanding how this plays? So, what are the ways of doing this? One, reach out to your agent who is representing you on the buyer side. The agent will reach out to the sellers, convey what was going on, and ask them for either a price reduction or ask them to fix the issue. The typical thing is to do a request for repairs, where you ask the sellers to fix the issue. If the sellers disagree, you can say, hey, it's okay, you don't repair, we'll repair the issue. And so you can do the credit for the repairs. And in the worst case, when it is a contract, as is contract, non-contingent, there is no way out of the contract, then it's your call as a buyer. Talk to your agent and see how the market is. In an uptrending market, even if you have a $20,000 issue, the property is going to, after you fix it, the property is going to be worth more than what you spent on fixing the issue. So maybe you can still hold on to the proper transaction. But in a downtrending market, and if there is a bigger ding in the property, say a foundation issue or the roof is just not working out, you will be compelled to back out. So in that case, it becomes a legal matter. Contact your attorney, seek legal advice, and see what comes out of it. I hope this is shedding some light on how to deal with a discovery after you get into the transactions which was not disclosed by the sellers. I hope this was informative. Please share this with friends that might need this advice. Like this and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you on my next one. Bye.